Probably the first high point. This doser we introduced 3 years ago at Interzoo. Actually, I think it's 4 years ago now at Interzoo in Germany. And I get asked every single week about this doser for 4 years. Insane. What that tells me anyway is that this is something that people want pretty bad. We introduced it as the most accurate doser on the market. It's accurate to a single drop, 0.05 mils. It's very controllable, easily controllable through our Repeat app. It's got features that a good number of them don't. Price point is excellent. And the demand is extremely high. We've sold these into the thousands already just in pre-orders, and probably 80% of my stores ordered well the first time, but even before they've shipped, which is going to be this week, have ordered more. It comes with little stickers for all of our stuff to put on the heads. It comes with blanks if you want to use somebody else's stuff. The doser itself is really compact overall. It's blocky, but not so wide and doesn't take up so much space. It can be utilized in a few different manners. One is it comes with a bracket that mounts to a wall or whatever, and you just slide it right down onto it. It's got a hose or a cord gap so that this will fit right flush to the wall, which is very nice. You can also, however, put it in any position. You can stand it up, you can put it upside down, you can put it on its back. It's going to work perfectly every time, regardless of how you position it. So it's really going to be useful in that manner. On the front, the only buttons are just feed buttons to prime your heads. Although you can also do that in the app. You don't have to use the buttons at all. On the back, the only button is just the connect to Wi-Fi, that sort of thing button, get the thing going. The heads are interchangeable, which is nice. They index themselves. They snap right off, so they're really easy to clean, easy to take care of, easy to change the hoses on, all of that sort of thing. These are TPV tubing hoses, very high-end medical grade type tubing, well beyond silicone. At any rate, we use this because basically we don't want this to deform in any way. We don't want it to expand, contract. It's got little keepers on the end also. For those of you that have experienced the creep that comes out, this will help with that. But even if you do get the creep, no screwdriver or mess to get these things off. They're self-indexing as well. It doesn't matter. These are all straight right now, but anyway, you probably can't see that, but this one's sideways, the rest are straight. It doesn't matter where you put them, it indexes itself and goes right back on. So that's kind of handy as well. With a lot of these things, you've got to make sure the shaft lines up with the head. It's just a little ease of use factor. The tube should be replaced about once a year or so. And again, easy to do. A few of the features of this thing that are unique is one, its accuracy point. And we, by the way, want you to use our hoses with this. And the reason for that is these are TPE hoses, not TPV like what's in here, but still much higher grade than silicone. And that actually contributes to the accuracy of the doser. These will make another doser more accurate as well. Silicone has some issues. It expands and contracts. It's a little too flexible. It also absorbs air. A lot of people don't know it's semi-permeable, so when you put it on a suction line, it actually sucks air into it. And any air that goes through this doser is not liquid, but it's still counted as such because it's turning so many times, Beyond that, any one of these heads can be set up as a feeding head. So if you're going to feed reef energy in this in one head, you can set it as a feeding head, and it will shut off other devices, other Red Sea devices that you want to shut off while you're feeding, and it'll then turn them back on, of course. Right now, I believe that's just the wave pump. I don't think the lights do that. There will be more items to come. But everything is really straightforward. So like when you set the thing up, it'll ask you to start with one head. I don't believe you have to start with number 1 or whatever, but that's certainly the easiest way to do it. At any rate, it asks you first what you're dosing, and there's a drop-down menu that has all of our stuff as well as most of the other popular supplements that you might be using. And if it doesn't have yours, there's a right-in spot. So it's kind of handy in that regard because you can name this specifically with your supplement. Beyond that, it then asks you to calibrate it. So that you do with this little glass vial. What it does is it says, you know, how many mils do you want to calibrate it with? Let's say 5 mils. You push the button, fill up this vial. If it's 5 mils, you're good to go, and you just say, yep, it's cool. If it's not, you adjust the number up or down and say, okay, I got this, and then do it again. Ask you if it's good. If it is, you're good to go. The reason you do that, you may or may not be aware, is all of the fluids have different viscosities, and those will yield different results pumping through a doser. So if you're not calibrating your doser that you may be using now, that's a problem. You know, it's going to give you a different output than you don't want in more cases than not. At any rate, it also then will ask you how big your bottle is. You tell them where you're starting, 500 mil, 250 mil, 1 liter, whatever. It will then count how much of your bottle you're using as you go, and when it starts getting low, it will send a notification to your phone, which is kind of cool as well. So you don't have to worry about when your bottles are getting low. You don't have to go over there and shake them, you know, that sort of thing. Basically, it's telling you what you need to know across the board. It will dose down to a single drop. It will dose, I can't recall exactly how many times, but at least 24 times, at least once an hour. But I believe more than that if you want to expand dosing beyond that. It is not suitable for water change. It will do only about 1,000 mils at a time. But at any rate, it gives you a lot of information. There's a log that it keeps, so it follows the doses that it does for you and keeps them in a log for each head. You can then download that to Excel and fool with it any way you want. If it misses a dose, if power goes out, you'll get a notification. It'll tell you it missed the dose. It will re-up the dose later as it goes. It sorts the doses itself. You don't have to, you know, make sure that you're doing this one 5 minutes after the next one, that sort of thing. It's not going to dump them all in there at once. So a lot of features like that are really nice. The other great advantage is that it works with everything else on the same app. Not having to learn a whole new app or a whole new computer process or whatever is good news. The other advantage basically is the price point. This one, the 4-head, sells for $350 retail, well below what it should. Its nearest competitor is a GHL model that's app driven that sells for $470. And by that I mean, yes, there's lots of cheap dosers on the market, but what I mean is a doser that's anywhere similar to this one. It's tremendously more money. Easy for you to get, easy for you to sell along with the other items, the lights and the wave pumps and all of that. And this is what we're trying to achieve. We're basically trying to give you a line of products that's easy for the consumer to use, come in at an economical price point for their quality, and we want it to be easy for them to do. So we want you to be able to sell them an aquarium from the ground up and have all the equipment working on the same app, have it working well, have it working synergistically, so on and so forth. There's also a 2-head model. We recommend 4 heads. We are under the impression that dosing is really important, even though we're one of the lines that has the fewest bottles. We think you should use them all, you know, and that's a little different than other manufacturers that have tons of bottles and think you should use just a couple of them. The point to our line is that we are providing a service for each chemistry issue in your aquarium, whether it's foundation elements, nitrate and phosphate, coral food, or trace and minor elements, you know. So basically what we recommend is at least a 4-head doser that runs calcium alkalinity, no pops, and reef energy. And the reason for that basically is these are all daily dose products, which is really the main reason you want a doser, is so you can keep up with a daily dose product. But also they're really important to the maintenance of the aquarium. You know, feeding the corals is really important, dealing with the nitrate and phosphate is really important, and calcium and alkalinity are obviously very important. Magnesium, which is something a lot of people would put on the doser because they're using it with calcium and alkalinity and they have an extra head, is not. This is something that you're going to use once a week, once a month even sometimes in a lot of tanks, you know, and even more seldom in some cases. No need to put that on a doser. If you use 2 of these 4 heads, they do not have to be linked together. They just will show up in your app and they'll run what you're running, and they'll do so accordingly. So there's no, so to speak, math involved. If you use 2 of them, you can then run our color supplements on the other one, and the only thing you're not dosing is magnesium in the system. You can easily do that weekly, monthly, whatever is required for your system. If you're using a 2-head, our only recommendation for that is in a fish tank where you use cage coralline grow to pump the alkalinity, and no pox to keep the nitrate and phosphate and the algae down. But at any rate, we do of course know that most people are going to use that buy a 2-head are going to use it for 2-part. So fine enough. Anyway, that's kind of the rundown of the doser itself. We have 2 kits. We have 2 colors. This is red-yellow kit. We also have a blue-green kit. And basically what that means is it just gives you a separate color scheme. So you can sort out your different items, which is handy. Plus it looks kind of fun. I don't know if you guys have seen any of the videos or pictures where we've got 2 heads set up and the whole thing, or the two 4-heads set up and the whole thing running. It's pretty cool looking, and there's lots of folks that like that these days. These come with 4 hoses, 10 feet long each. I wouldn't recommend longer hoses than that. That's a long way to dose something. It also comes with the little gizmo that holds it on the tank or the sump. It has removable heads that are easy to clean and replace. And then it comes with these little keepers that keep the hose in line as they go. That can be screwed into a wall. I believe they're going to come double-sided taped as well in the production models, or you can just leave them free, but it will keep the hoses tended along the way so that they're not a big disaster like the typical behind the TV and the fish tank. These are really nice quality. When you feel these, you'll feel the difference between silicone. They're much sturdier, but still soft at the same time. So the kit comes with 4 hoses in one scheme or the other, blue, green, or red, yellow. It comes with a little gizmo to hold it to the sump, and it comes with the little keepers that will close over them. You can buy these parts separately as well. So if somebody just wants hoses, fine. If they just want the keepers, they can buy those in a little pre-pack. If they just want the tank mount, they can buy that separately. It doesn't pay, ultimately. The kit retails for $30. Each part times 3 is 13 to 15. So they might as well buy the kit, in my opinion. These hoses will make another doser more accurate, just like they help make ours more accurate. So you can sell these hose kits for any doser. They'll fit any other doser and they'll improve it.